Hello, and I guess welcome to ImFvck'dUP. Um, I'm Bailey, and I'm fucked up. And I decided that I would make a whole podcast, little fake podcast thingy about it. Anyways, I was thinking about something earlier, and I was like talking to myself, and I was like, why am I talking to myself when I should be talking to my freaking Audacity? So, anyways, um, I realized that, or at least I've been trying to figure out why it's so hard for me to want to go out into the real world and like explore it and stuff and be a person. And I realized that my real world is Discord. Like, when I think about it, all these little communities that I'm a part of are like cities and towns, if that makes sense. Like, there are some servers that are really big and nobody really knows everybody, but they're all there because they have a common interest, or they like the person running the server, which is also, I guess, a common interest, or they want like notifications, so they're just there for those pings, or they're there to just talk to people that are similar in interest or something like that, or they come in and out and they're not actually around, but they're like looking at things. There's just a lot. It's very city like. It's like not everybody is perceived, that sort of thing. They're just there, which I guess a lot of people really like, which I find really interesting. And then there's like this kind of small town Discord group or community, which is like everybody knows everybody, and where they came from and what the backstory is and stuff like that. Or like if they don't know everything, they know who they came for, like who brought them here and stuff like that. It's very interesting, so the differences between those like really big, almost city-like community discords and the really like almost smaller, like town-like discords where you're brought in by someone that has been a part of the server for a while because they think that you'll really like the community there, or you already know you're a friend of a friend, or you're a friend that is just just in a little server together, and you're talking about things, and you all like, if you don't relate to something, but you're all just friends in general. Which I find I like those spaces a lot more because it feels a lot more welcoming than kind of being ostracized almost. When you're but I do realize in those like smaller servers, it's like everybody knows everybody, and so when you're new, people are either really curious about you or they really don't want to talk to you. And it's very interesting because like there are people in those small servers and I'm just like, I really like you, I like this person and this person and this person. Everyone else I'm just like, well, you said one bad joke once and I just really don't jive with you anymore. Like, not like bad as in like a dad joke, but I mean like little, not really my type of humor, borderline not good type joke, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I don't know, I don't really like you, that's okay. I like the people that you hang out with, so I'll be around for a little bit, but when you get here I might just dip. Like, that's kind of how my brain works. And it works like that with like big servers too. I find that in like bigger servers, there'll be people in the server that I really jive with and I really like, but there's like these a few people or multiple people that I'm just like, don't perceive me. I don't want, like at this, like there are some points when I'm just like, can we have like a separate VC with only the people that I like in it so that I can talk to these people and not feel perceived by these people I don't like, which is not realistic at all because it's not my server. I can't ask for that type of shit. Anyways, it's very interesting how my brain works, and I'm just like, if I had more control in this server, I would definitely like have a small space to cut off everyone else because I don't want to talk to them at all. But like the great thing about Discord is that you can create that space. You can literally make your own server that is tailored to, like, it's almost like making your own city or making your own town. It's tailored to you and what you like in your types of servers and the communities that you want to create and stuff. And it's very interesting to, like, when you start off making a server, a lot of the time it's for a purpose and it's not for like friend groups or whatever. But I'm a part of like a few servers with friends that are literally just for their friend groups, and I'm just like, I love that for you. That you have this space where you get updates on things that you all collectively love, and you just talk to each other about your day and as it's going, and it's so lovely. It's so kind and wonderful. And I'm just like, I don't know how to interact because I don't do anything besides stay in my house all day and do work or study. So I can't really apply to like an actual conversation, but it's fine. Like, I feel like my online space is my world, and I don't have to go out into the real world to have that almost like multiple journeys, exploring new places, traveling sort of vibe, because it's all right here on my computer. What I do find interesting though is that I feel like one of the reasons why it's so much easier for me to or want to stay online than it is to be in the real world is that I feel like I'm allowed to not be perceived. Like online, I can go silent and nobody will notice. Nobody's really going to say anything because there's other people talking or something like that, or like they're all doing their own things and we're just kind of in this space together. And people can't see when I don't know, I have a really weird thing where when I'm perceived, there's a lot of self-deprecating thoughts. Like, and when I'm in the real world, when I'm talking with people or when I'm just in the space, I constantly feel perceived because there are eyes looking everywhere. They definitely could just not be looking at me, but I constantly feel like I'm being perceived. And so that like egotistical I am being looked at all times makes my thoughts very mean and negative about myself, and it hurts a lot. So I don't like going out. I don't like being in social settings. I don't like being in crowds or in public or whatever, because I'm just like, oh, this person probably can see me and I don't like myself, so I definitely don't think they like me. And that just, the self-deprecation just goes on and on and on and on and on until I'm out of that space and I feel like I'm out of people's sight. And like, it's a constant, like, I feel very hurt all the time. And it's not because of them or anything that they've done or said or look at or whatever. It's never their thing. It's always an internal struggle that I can't let go of. My self-deprecation, it goes so far and it keeps going and will continue to keep going until I don't feel perceived anymore. And it's like really, it comes really, really bad because I'm just like, on one hand, I want to be perceived because I want people to see me as a person. But on the other hand, I don't want to be perceived because every single time I'm perceived, I feel absolutely demoralizingly horrible about myself. So that's not a very helpful thing, but whatever. I find it very interesting that that's how my brain works in the outside world, and yet online it's a lot easier to not be perceived. Like, you can really just like kind of cut yourself out of conversation because other people are doing that too. Like, not everybody's always fully focused on a specific conversation. They've got other things going on. They're on their computer, they're playing a game while they're talking, or they're watching something while they're talking, or they're working while they're talking. And it's always like, well, I need to focus on this first and then I'll come back to the conversation. Or like, maybe two other people are having a conversation. You're allowed to not talk or be a part of that conversation because they're having their own little thing. And whereas you can do that in real life, it feels like you have to like still be attentive, or at least from what I experience, even if you're just there, I feel like I have to be attentive to the conversation even if I'm not in it. And that's a very annoying thing. I realize I do it like, I think it was on an extra set. They were talking about their experiences like on flights or planes or whatever. I was not a part of the conversation at all, but I was in the room and I felt like I had to like kind of be present in that conversation, even if I wasn't actually, and it felt very rude of me to go off and do my own thing when they're talking to this small group of people, because I feel like I have to be a part of that small group of people, even though I'm not, if that makes sense. It's very, very weird and stupid and egotistical, maybe, but like, it's just like, that's just how I feel. I feel like I have to be present because these people in the room, I'm not invisible. They can see me. I can be perceived. I don't want to be rude, so I have to be present. And even if I'm not in the conversation, you nod, you smile, you laugh at someone's joke, just to feel like you're not being a disrespectful little bit. And it's just like, I don't know why I do that, because I don't have to, but I've been trained to over years of like being a part of conversations or not being a part of conversations. And it's like, when in the real world I have to be perceived and I have to pretend like I'm actually interested in what's going on, it gets really taxing and really hard, and I'm overanalyzing all of the things that I do because I feel like they can see it, because again, I'm being perceived, and I'm just like, okay, well, now I'm in my head about this little thing that I did, and I should have like looked away and then looked back, or I should have like, done the micro pauses and something or whatever. Like, I'm always self-critical about how I am perceived in a real life setting, whereas online they can't see me. I'm not actually there. I can look away and be partially listening, partially not listening, because fucking that's just how it is. That's okay. Like, there's never been you need to like do your micro adjustments to feel like a person or look like an actual being, because I don't have to do that online. I'm not perceived. It's really, really weird. And I realize that like there's a reason. That's probably one of the big reasons why I don't like going out and talking to people or meeting people or being in crowds or being in smaller settings or whatever, because it's like I'm always being perceived, and I am very self-conscious about how I look to others or how I present to others, because I never want to seem rude, ever. I always want to seem like I am fully embedded in our conversation or in your talk about whatever it is you're talking about, because I want to be passionate with you. I'm not a very passionate person. So like, it's really hard to like, I wouldn't say pretend, but it's really hard to be fully encapsulated in everything that you're doing when I'm not really, and it's not my excitement, and I'm just kind of like, what I'll do is whatever excitement they're feeling, I'll feed it right back into them. Even if it's not my excitement, it's yours, and I want to be on the same level of excitement or down energy or whatever as you are, so that I'm not, playing it too low or having too much energy or whatever for whatever situation's coming up. And I guess that's a form of masking, isn't it? Interesting. I didn't think of it like that, but I guess that's what it is. It's basically just like, I don't like going out because I have to mask as this person that I'm not. And when I'm online, I don't have to do that. I literally can be doing multiple other things while listening to you talk and still be okay. And if I miss something, I don't feel as bad about it because I'm not being perceived. If I have to be like, can you like say that again? I'm not being perceived as, oh, you're intentionally ignoring me, you're whatever. I don't feel that way, and I guess my RSD isn't kicking into my head frame or this headspace or whatever, and so I'm just like, this is a normal conversation to me, It's very weird. I don't know why I do it or why it's like that. I don't know how to stop it. Like, if I could just stop masking in a public setting, I think I'd probably go out so much more, but I can't do that because I'm always worried, even if it's just like a one-on-one conversation. I'm matching your energy as much as possible, and that's so draining, but I do it because I don't want you to feel like I'm not trying hard to love the thing that you love or hate the person that you hate or whatever. I want to always be someone that you can relate to in a way, will also, because like my brain is like, okay, this person obviously wants to talk about this thing that they're really excited about. In my head, I'm just like, okay, why are they excited about it? What should I be reflecting back to them? If they pause while they're speaking, relay something so that you're like, oh my god, is this really what's happening? Is this specific thing what you're going to be doing? Like, there's so many little mini micro thought processes, little micro thought processes to a conversation, and it's a lot, like so much. Like, people, I don't think have to do with that, but I do, and I'm just like, fuck you for making me think that I have to do this. And but it's also like, you didn't do this to me, I did it to myself, so I can't really complain. But fucking anyways, it's very hard for me to be in a social situation. So at this point, I've gotten to the point of where, like, when I'm out somewhere, I don't talk. I am non-verbal as fuck. I don't say shit. Like, I don't know, I'm one of those people that will laugh when something is funny. Absolutely, because if it's funny, it's funny. Or I'll, like, nod my head when I agree with something, but it's normally, like, to myself. And then I'm always self-conscious because I'll agree with something in my head, and so I just start nodding, and somebody will see it and perceive it, and I'm just like, oh shit, I didn't mean to do that out loud. I wasn't actually speaking, but I didn't mean to make that movement actually. You know, because, like, I've gotten to the point of, like, I don't look at me, but whenever I don't do anything, I'm more perceived because I'm there, but I'm not a part of the conversation. And so when people are able to see that I have been listening or have been a part of the conversation without actually being a part of the conversation, they'll point it out, and I'm just like, don't do that, fuck off. Don't perceive me. Your perception is making me very anxious right now. Can you not do that? But I can't just say that because that's rude, and they'll be like, well, why don't you want to be a part of the conversation? Like, I am. I'm just not. I don't point it out when I say something or laugh about something or whatever. Just leave me alone. Like, oh, it's so annoying, but it's also like, I'm really glad that you want me to be there. It's very helpful for my, constant thinking I don't belong or fit in. I'm really glad that you want me to be there, yes, and I'm glad that you want me to be a part of the conversation, but don't tell me that I'm a part of the conversation, because if you tell me, I get worried, and then I'm very critical about every little movement or micro thing I do, and I don't want to deal with that. My head hurts my heart, and I need you to not make it so where my head starts, like, going into overdrive about how to hurt my heart. Oh, it's so crazy to me. Like, nobody gets it, and I don't know how to explain it, so I just stand there. I stand there and say nothing, or I'll sit on the ground and say nothing, because I'm not allowed to complain about my feet hurting. So I'm just like, okay, well, we're not moving at the moment. I'm going to sit my ass on the fucking floor and see how you like it. Like, it sucks to suck, I guess, but I'm not allowed to say, oh my god, my feet hurt, can we go sit down somewhere? Instead, I have to wait until we've, like, basically not moved for a while, and then be like, okay, this seems like a good time for me to get my ass on the floor, because I don't want to move right now. It's very interesting, the little things that I've, like, noticed that I do, and I feel like with certain people, I'm not allowed to try and be as little perceived as possible. Like with family, they know for a fact that I'm going to be non-verbal. They know for a fact that I'm going to randomly sit on the floor because, like, but I don't think they realize that I got to that point because of the whole stop complaining about your feet being hurt, all of our feet are hurting, stop complaining about it. Like, we'll get someone when we get somewhere, I don't want to hear you talk about it anymore. Like, and that came from my family. It wasn't always from other people. It did come from my family. And so I, like, would try to stop complaining about it and, like, push myself through whatever pain in order to find a time when I can sit on the ground, because I'm not going to look for a bench anymore, or, like, maybe the bench is 2 feet away from me, but I've been standing up for so long, and I've been pushing through it for so long. The floor looks so comfy. It really does. Unless there's a puddle on it, I'm totally fine with the floor. Floor's great. Love it. Here for it. Oh yeah, like, I don't know. It's a very weird thing to think about. And it's like, I'm more than happy. Like, I don't know, being alone in public isn't too bad, but I still kind of get that, there are moments when, like, you're alone in public and somebody does actually perceive you and you can see it, and they like that you have eye contact with some random person in the room or whatever, and immediately my head will spiral. Even if it's just for a second, my head will continue to spiral, and I'm in my head and my thoughts for a really long time and I can't get out of it. And that's what I don't like about going out. It's like, it's never someone else is hurting me. It's my own head is hurting me. And I don't want people to perceive me so that my head can start hurting. Like hello, no thank you. And it's never like my head hurts. It's my head is talking about me really meanly and my heart is now hurting. So it's very fun. I can't lie to you. It's so fun. I never really know how to explain it and that people will understand. So I guess this is my way of explaining it. I don't think I did a very good job, but I did something. It happened. I don't know. I was literally just watching an actress roundtable, and all of a sudden my thoughts went here. So I think she was talking about how, like, it was Zendaya and a bunch of other people. I love how Zendaya is the only one that I actually remember from the actual actress table. But it was like a bunch of them talking. It was like the Hollywood Reporter, right? And it was just them speaking on their experiences or these movies that they've been a part of and why they made certain choices. And they had gotten to the point where Zendaya was talking about how she's a child actress, and they were asking her, like, kind of that feeling, you know? And she was like, you're kind of like going through changes, and you know, you make mistakes in like a public setting, people see it all the time. And I'm just like, that's how it feels to be in my head, you know? Like, it's not a popularity thing. It's not like I've been on the screen or whatever. No, it's just, I have a terrible ego that, like, if someone sees me or I feel like I'm going to be seen, then every small micro mistake I make, I'm overanalyzing. And my head does not give me any grace, ever. And I very much so have, like, a head over heart situation. It's never the other way around. And I guess there are times when, like, my heart is kind of in charge of where my head is going. But most of the time, my head is like, you are doing something wrong. This is bad. You did that good. Try doing it more, but you can't sustain it because it's a lot for you and your body doesn't really do things like that correctly. So don't do that anymore because you're getting tired. But if you don't do that, I hope you know that you're a bad person, you know? And that's just how that's just how it works. And knowing that, like, my head is like that almost all the time, my heart is in constant pain from myself. It's never from other people, but from myself. And that's why external validation is so big for me. Because I'm just like, even though I'm saying, don't say that, it's not true. It's like, I am honestly so appreciative that you even saw me as a good thing and not a bad thing. Like, that you even care that you even care enough to say that I am, I don't know, a good person, or I'm pretty, or whatever, or like I'm cute, or whatever. I don't care. A lot of the time, my head is immediately negating that. But there's like a small tinge in me that I'm just like, thank you for even thinking that, when my head is telling me the exact opposite, you know? And I think a lot of the time, like, those words don't fully affect me. But in my heart, I'm like, I'm so appreciative that someone sees me as more than just bad and more than just a negative light. I can't see myself that way because my head said no, but I really do appreciate that someone has. you know? And I realize that a lot of the time I think my head is saying no to it and telling me to say no to it so that it feels that small bit of validation when they reassure me instead of be like, you're right, you are ugly, you know? Which is really toxic to think about. It's really, really toxic, but that's something. Where the fuck did my conversation go? Holy shit. Anyways, I'm gonna go now. I hope you like this little podcasty ranty thing, and yeah, sorry, I just wanted to talk, I guess, like always. Bye bye.